This is breaking news.
Introduce first father of late Christina Yuna Lee, Mr. Sung-gun Lee, who has a statement to make, and I believe his statement is also reduced in writing so he can distribute that after the conference today. So first I'd like to invite Mr. Sung-gun Lee to the microphones. 말씀하세요 이제. 네, 말씀하세요. 일단 소감으로 말씀하시고.
Thank you for giving us a lot of concerning today. I'll read the family statement. 2.5 years have passed since my lovely daughter Christina Yuna Lee's life was brutally cut short, and today there is finally the court's sentencing of the murderer who pleaded guilty. The murder was horrific, and no amount of sentencing can be compared to Christina, who died unjustly, or to her family, who are living with the consequences in unbearable pain. I think that there are two factors which contributed to this tragic incident happened to my family. First, New York State bail reform law. Due to this law, various crimes were committed at the time. A criminal who should be in prison was instead wandering around the city and committing other crimes. This is what happened in this case. Christina was brutally and viciously murdered by the murderer, who should have been in jail. As a side effect of the law, criminals who should not have been released were released, resulting in countless crimes being committed again. The political world orbit lately passed an amendment in the New York State Assembly in April 2022, 2 months after the Christina's incident, led by Governor occurred. I believe that the leading political and social forces who enacted this law cannot avoid responsibility. The second, the decisive cause of Christina's death occurred at the scene of the incident. There was an inadequate response by the police who arrived. The first mission of New York City and its police is to protect the safety of its citizens. While the police who arrived in front of the building in 2 and 3 minutes after the call, the police did not gain entrance to the scene of the crime until 1 hour and 20 minutes had passed since arriving at the scene. In the meantime, Christina suffered a cruel death, being cut over 40 times by the criminal's knife. Furthermore, The police have not expressed any regrets to my family. Now that the court's ruling on criminal behavior has come to an end, the police must disclose all information regarding the incident, and if there was an incorrect response, the relevant person must take appropriate responsibility. My family is currently pursuing a lawsuit against New York City. But what my family really wants is not compensation. Instead, we want Christina's memory to be remembered and to be prevent others having a similar fate. That is why we are asking the New York City mayor to name one homeless shelter in New York City as the Christina Yuna Lee Memorial Shelter. This is based on the fact that culprit of the incident was homeless. It will contribute to prevent recurrence of similar incidents in the future, and it will be a way to soothe and honor Christina's soul and memory. Dear New Yorkers, thank you for all sincere condolences from citizens immediately after the incident. Additionally, I would like to take this opportunity to express my special gratitude to all those who provided us with material help via GoFundMe.com. We would also like to thank AABA Daphna Yoran for her efforts in prosecuting the case without wavering. Lastly, my family hopes that you keep supporting us. This time to name a homeless shelter as the Christina Yuna Lee Memorial Shelter. We are very grateful for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. We're joined today by the president of the Korean American Association of Greater New York, CAGNY, which is the representative organization by consensus of the entire Korean American community in the Greater New York region. I'd like to have him come up and say a few words on behalf of the organization.
Hi, this is Kwang Kim, representing CAGNY. We cannot bring Christina back to our community, but commemorating her name in public facility and reminding our civilians not to happen to see this kind of incident again. And CAGNY will do our best to pursue the memorial event to come true. And we heard that naming her name and the public facility shelter was a part of the park. And through the discussion with the family, we'll do our best to support this project and happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite the representatives of two bar associations who are participating today. First, I'd like to invite from the Asian American Bar Association, Representative Professor Elaine Chu. Would you like to say a few words?
Hello, my name is Elaine Chu, and I'm a professor of law at St. John's University at the School of Law. But today I'm here speaking on behalf of the Anti-Asian Violence Task Force that was formed by the Asian American Bar Association of New York. Christina's death and the horrific violence of her killing would have been devastating no matter what. But the fact that it occurred on February 13th, 2022, added a whole other dimension. By that point, the country was undergoing, our city, our beloved city, was undergoing a massive spike in anti-Asian hate and violence. And because of that, even though this case was not prosecuted as a hate crime, right, that connection in time to what we as Asian New Yorkers and Asian Americans were experiencing, and also the fact that she, as an Asian New Yorker, died a violent and horrific death, one that was provoked by nothing she did, nothing at all. All of that shocked us, struck a raw nerve, unnerved us all over once again. Recall what New York City was like at that time of her passing. Asian Americans, in particular Asian New Yorkers, all of our friends, our family, ourselves, right, we were afraid. We were deeply afraid. And many of us had stopped going out at night. Many of us had stopped going on subways, on public transportation, right? Many of us stopped speaking our first language in public, right? And so at that time, we were doing all of these things out of a deep fear. And that's the insidious harm of hate crimes. They terrorize communities because the truth is that despite all of those efforts to avoid an attack, the truth is that there's little to nothing that community members can do to avoid these attacks. These attacks, hate crimes, happen simply because of the color of your skin, the color of your hair, the shape of your eyes, the shape of your nose, things that you shouldn't have to change and often cannot change. So what can be done about hate crime? AABA is here today to remind us all that one tool at our disposal is the rule of law and our criminal courts. The Asian American Bar Association has been helping New York City and victims and communities confronted by this crisis since the pandemic began. And one of our many efforts has been court watching. And so today, we have been doing this several times already, but we come out and we support victims and we support their loved ones in court. The courts, the laws, the police, the local prosecutor, they work on behalf of every community in this great city, or at least they're supposed to. And that includes our communities. They are our courts, our laws, our prosecutors, and our police. To ensure that they work on behalf of our interests, we must insist that they do so. We must be vigilant. We must participate. We must advocate. We must engage and bear witness to achieve that justice and meaningful redress for ourselves. I want to thank everyone who came out today. I want to thank CAGNY, and all the other community organizations to make this the biggest turnout we've had so far. Christina Yuna Lee and her family have suffered greatly. Many of our friends and family have suffered. Many continue to be afraid. Many of us continue to use those strategies we've developed. We must not let this suffering be in vain. We must be visible. We must show up, stand up, speak up, and speak out. If anyone here continues to suffer from the harms of crime as an AAPI person, we are here at the Bar Association to help you. Please reach out to us. We are available at aabtf@abity.org, and we're here to go to court with you, to go to the police station with you, to talk to prosecutors with you. We're here to stand behind you at a sentencing. We're here to help, and I thank you all for helping us help others today.
Next, I'd like to invite Jean Kang, who is the former president of the Korean American Lawyers Association, as well as Lawrence Han, who is the current president of the Korean American Lawyers Association. I think you guys might want to say a few words.
Hi, my name is Lawrence Han. I'm the current president for the Korean American Lawyers Association of Greater New York. I just want to say a few words briefly. First of all, our thoughts and prayers are with Christina's family and friends during this difficult time. While the sentencing of Ahmed Nash for the tragic and senseless murder of Christina brings a small measure of justice to her family, it also serves as a stark reminder that the ongoing violence that our community faces. We as a community must remain committed to standing against hate and violence and advocating for the safety and justice for all. Well, what has happened to Christina was tragic. Let us never forget and continue to honor Christina's memory by working together to overcome the hatred and violence that we face today. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gene Kang. I'm the immediate past president of the Korean American Lawyers Association of Greater New York. And I'll just say a few words. Christina Yuna Lee was only 35 years old when she was brutally murdered by Ahmed Nash. And today's sentence, unfortunately, will not bring her back. But what we hope is that it brings some semblance of closure to her family, who will continue to bear the pain of her loss. And we hope that it sends a message to the rest of the community that these types of violent crimes and attacks against Asian Americans will not be tolerated, and their perpetrators will not be shown leniency. Asian Americans in this city continue to fear for their safety, and these attacks must stop. We thank the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Bragg, for obtaining today's sentence, but we urge his office and other prosecutors across this city, as well as law enforcement, to remain vigilant and to zealously prosecute these violent crimes against Asian Americans. We also encourage our elected officials to rethink, reconsider, and challenge any plans that they have to bring additional homeless shelters into predominantly Asian American populated areas to hopefully prevent these types of attacks in the future. And we hope that the city will honor Mr. Lee's wishes and memorialize Christina's memory with a homeless shelter in the area. And finally, I just want to say that an attack against one Asian American, as you can see, is an attack against all of us. And we will remain united against hate and violence against one of our own. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes our press conference. I want to thank the media who have shown interest in this accident from the very beginning, and we hope that that your interest will continue as the family continues to cope with what happened, and also to seek to memorialize Christina Yuna Lee's passing away in a fashion that they had laid out earlier today. Thank you again for attending.